What is going on, SHA Army? We're back for another How To Tuesday. Last Thursday, I talked about giving some suggestions on the Thursday videos we could do. We have a couple of good suggestions that I'm going to be actually testing out. First thing I'm doing is Thursday, I'm going to try a Throwdown Thursday where I'm talking about 2 celebrities and 2 characters, each of which the celebrity has played, and they're going to go head to head. So, for example, let's say Stephen Amell and his Arrow versus Jeremy Renner and his Hawkeye. Talk about the characters, the way they portray the characters, and basically go head to head for the character and the celebrity both at the same time, what they did to get into character, how they fit the character, how the studio portrayed the character, how they then fit that portrayal, whatever it is. I'm still kind of winging it. It was a good suggestion and I'm going to try it. There's also another video that we were thinking about that is top 3 workouts for each body part. So for example, top 3 chest workouts to get a chest like Chris Evans' Captain America, or top 3 glute workouts, or top 5 glute workouts to get a butt like Scarlett Johansson, or something like that, whatever. Go figure, I think of Chris Evans' chest and Scarlett Johansson's butt. But before I get too far into it, what we're talking about today is how to fit calisthenics or cardio into your training regardless of if you're bulking or cutting. So the title didn't say regardless if you're bulking or cutting, but I am going to be talking about it because I don't want you to think you can all of a sudden add in cardio and it's not going to affect your cut or your bulk or do things to it, because it is, because you're burning more calories. So I'll talk about that for a little bit, but I want to more so talk about the breakdown and how you would change your schedule and what you could do in order to add specific things into a workout that you already have planned. For this, I'll be talking about workouts that we have on the site that are 3 to 5 day splits, or I'll be talking about the superhero programs and how you can fit them in either one, whatever the splits are. Before I do that, I want to say that I finished up Mortal Engines Book 2. This is Mortal Engines. Book 2 is on here. Finished up Predator's Gold. The book review is up. I'll link to that below. I started reading Baptism of Fire, which is right here. It's extremely slow, which is one of my complaints on the last book, and it's just long chapters. It's a slow read, and I really do like where it is. That it's like the epic tale. It reminds me of Lord of the Rings. I really do like it when it gets going and like really in the heat of the moment. But I also purchased Children of Blood and Bone, which is something that I've had my eyes on for a really long time, and I started reading that while reading The Witcher, so I'm reading 2 books at once. Hopefully I'll finish The Witcher before the end of this month, and I'll have the book review up because it is the book club book. But I will say this, if The Witcher does not heat up, I bought it in like a trilogy 3-pack or whatever for the first 3 books of the series, and if it does not heat up, I'm not buying the 4th. If it does heat up, I'll continue on with the series with everybody who's reading along with me. But for those of you who are not reading along with me and you just did Mortal Engines, you could do Children of Blood and Bone. It's already really good, and it started and picked up quick, and I am liking it. So that's that. Before I get too far ahead of myself, let's get into the video. Let's crack the monster, cue the music, and do it. Alright, so I actually recorded a long, elaborate video on putting together cardio, calisthenics, and different forms of programming, and by the end of it, it was like 15 minutes long, and I was like, okay, this actually is making it more confusing than the simple answer, which is scaling. Everything comes down to scaling. If you're utilizing a program that's 3 days, you can just fit it in maybe and do a push, pull, legs sequence where in the middle of that you add in some cardio and calisthenics like I'm doing right now. That's my current program, is push, calisthenics and cardio, pull, calisthenics and cardio, legs, calisthenics and cardio, and an active off day. So that's one way to add it in, is you can form your program around the addition, or you could choose to scale back your program. So let's say you're doing a 4 to 5 day program, but you want to add in some cardio or calisthenics. One thing you could do is scale back some movements like, let's say, lateral pull downs. You could add in some wide grip pull-ups, maybe add in some chin-ups on your pull day, for example. On your push day, maybe add in some push-ups and some dips. On your leg day, add in some air squats and some lunges. And when I'm saying add in, you could either add these in, you could swap the lat pull downs and the wide grip pull-ups, swap a press movement with some push-ups, swap weighted lunges for regular lunges, swap goblet squats for air squats. You could make these decisions within your program to do some swaps and some scaling and mix it up. Or you could add it in on top where you're scaling back some of the weights you're using on some of your accessory work and add in extra accessory work in the form of calisthenics. You can cut some things from your routine and add in cardio to the routine. You could add cardio in 10 to 30 minutes on top of that routine and then progress forward by adding on top. The only thing I will say is that if you're cutting, it's easier to add in more cardio because you're not worried about being in a surplus. But if you're bulking and you're adding in cardio, it does get tricky because normally I say don't add in your activity level, but if you're following one of our programs like the superhero programs, for example, if you're following the bulk and strength and your program is calling for 3 to 5 days of programming, in your nutrition, and then you're adding in cardio on top of it that's not accounted for, you're going to have to make up for those extra calories to hit your surplus. So for example, if you want to hit a 2,500 calorie range and that's your surplus, but you're losing 500 calories because of your extra cardio, you may have to account for that in order to hit your surplus by adding in extra food. So that's one thing to be aware of. It's easy to scale, but you also have to be aware of your goals. So it's easy to go for a specific goal in the form of bulking or cutting and then add things on top of it. Each one has the things that are easy to add to it. For example, if your goal is cutting, it's a lot easier to add cardio and bodyweight calisthenics type stuff because you're cutting and losing more calories is actually going to help your deficit, whereas if you're adding in cardio in your bulk, it's fighting against it. But the same goes for if you want to get stronger. You're going to want to be in a maintenance or a surplus. So if your goal is to get stronger, you're going to want to combine that with the type of training that goes with a bulk or maintenance level where you're maintaining and trying to gain strength. So these things go hand in hand where your goal should match your form of training to an extent, but you are always capable of scaling back and adding things in so you have multiple goals at once. It just really becomes down to awareness and intuitive training. The only reason I decided to add the cardio days and calisthenics days is because I'm currently in a cut, so it goes hand in hand with that. The extra cardio that I'm doing is helping my deficit, and I also really want to work on my cardiovascular system, so I waited to do this for my cut, and the extra calisthenics on top of it fit hand in hand with that cardio day because I have extra time and I have extra recovery time in that. Instead of doing like a 5-day program, I'm currently on my push-pull legs, but if I was doing a 4 to 5 day program, I could add in the cardio elsewhere. I could add in just little bits of cardio instead, just to keep the cardio up a little bit so I'm not feeling fatigued very easily, but I'm not fighting against the calorie surplus too much, as well as adding in bodyweight stuff here and there because I always have been trying to progress into the advanced movements since the bodyweight book. I released that while trying to advance myself forward, and I'm still going for that. I think some of these questions have been prompted due to the push-up challenge that we're doing right now, the 100 push-ups a day. We're coming to the end of the month, so that's great. I like that the goals are switching up and people are trying to do these calisthenic type movements in with other forms of programs. It's just more so scaling back and being aware of your specific goals and choosing a specific goal and the things that help drive that forward, and then maybe reevaluating your goal when you come closer to the finish line for that one and seeing what goes hand in hand. It's really easy to pair certain things that go hand in hand, and that'll bring that goal that much forward. And then when you have other goals added in, but be aware of how it goes with or against the rest of your programming. So I hope you guys liked this video. It was very simple. This was originally going to be a talk for the Academy, but I've been getting questions inside and out because of the bodyweight book and other things that we've been launching, as well as the push-up challenge that has been for YouTube, the newsletter, and everybody else. So I wanted to put it here first. There are going to be specific exclusive videos coming inside the Academy, so look forward to those if you're an Academy member. Smash the thumbs up button, comment below if you want to see specific things on the How To Tuesday. Talk to me about the Throwdown Thursday, and I'll talk to you later.